Hi, my name is Daniela Mostelak Diaz, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the international environment which surrounds Cuba's foreign policy decision to basically join the non-aligned movement in 1961. With this, I'm going to focus on a power political environment of that time, basically how global power struggles shaped Cuba's choices on the world stage. So, during the 1960s, the world was deeply divided by the Cold War. The United States led the capitalist Western Bloc, and the Soviet Union led the communist Eastern Bloc. Most of these countries felt pressured to pick a side, especially the newly independent nations like Latin America, Africa, and Asia specifically. They didn't want to be caught between the two powers, which led to the creation of the non-aligned movement, which was aimed to promote independence, self-determination, and cooperation among the nations that refused to align with either the United States or the Soviet Union. The situation during this time was especially complicated. After the 1959 revolution, Fidel Castro's government faced intense opposition from the United States, and they strongly disapproved of Cuba's socialist reforms and nationalization of American businesses, which led to economic sanctions, the trade embargo, and the failed Bay of Pigs, which happened in 1961. By Cuba joining the non-aligned movement, they tried to position themselves as an independent actor per se, which they weren't completely tied to the Soviet Union, but also they were no longer under the influence of the United States. This move gave Cuba international legitimacy, and it also aligned it with other developing nations that were challenging Western dominance and colonial legacies at the time. The global power environment at this time was incredibly polarized, so both the United States and the Soviet Union competed for influence through military alliances, economic aid, and ideological persuasion. For smaller nations like Cuba, survival heavily depending on navigating these power dynamics extremely carefully. Aligning with the non-aligned movement, it gave Cuba a diplomatic platform and a sense of autonomy, which even though in practice they still maintained close ties with the Soviet Union for economic and military support. In short, Cuba's decision to join the non-aligned movement was both political and strategic. It reflected the country's desire to assert independence while still securing protection in a world dominated by superpowers like the United States and the Soviet Union. This decision highlighted how smaller nations could use diplomacy and ideology to influence the broader Cold War balance of power. Thank you so much.